How's it going, guys? We're PitchFront. I'm Justin,
I'm Ricardo.
and we're back with another podcast. Just talking about last week's fixtures in the Premier League, and then our predictions in the parlay for this upcoming week. Um, yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it. First, talking about the first game we're talking about is Tottenham and Crystal Palace. Um, Another good win for Tottenham. This Crystal Palace team is pretty decent.
Yeah, um,
So
they are in 13th place, and I mean, obviously, the I want to say sixth through even 15th place is kind of tight. It's just two games away, and you're right there in the mix. So, I like this time of the Premier League just because it's so close in points, at least mid-table,
yeah,
that one loss could bring you down a lot. I mean, we've seen it. Crystal Palace, I believe, was in eighth,
I think ninth
ninth, and they dropped
to 13th
to 13th.
in
So
like 2 weeks. Yeah.
that's a good amount of slots, I guess you could say. But I thought it was going to be a little bit. I expected Tottenham to come out a little stronger.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
didn't watch the full game, but yeah, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised because it's Premier League. But at the same time, I just wish Tottenham would win with that authority. I guess this could be a good thing for the league just because it gives every other team hope. It's like our Crystal Palace, not a bad team, got some good players, got a they know what they're playing for. So I mean, we see Wolves, Brentford above Crystal Palace, so I think that's a go. Hey, if I get it together, I could potentially be the first place team. Um, which is it's weird because we see Man City in third, which we'll talk about their game later. Um, But when we talk about teams playing Manchester City, we're like, no, they're not going to beat them.
Yeah.
But when we talk about the first place teams, like, hey, there's a chance.
Yeah.
Um, it's pretty interesting. I want to bring something up, just Tottenham. Um, I've been seeing this podcast. It's Spanish. It's Mexican podcast. They cover soccer as well, football. They uh they were saying that if the curse of we thought was Tottenham was not Tottenham,
It was
was
Kane.
Kane.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we saw. I mean, well, we're quickly going to talk about it. How Bayern was knocked out of the cup by a
Uh,
third division team
yeah.
who's fighting relegation. They're in the last places. I think I don't know exactly what place they're in, but yeah, isn't that kind of weird?
Yeah. I think I saw some stat that like the last time Tottenham won a trophy was like the year before
Yeah,
Kane
yeah.
joined,
So
and then if the year he leaves, they come and
that's crazy because
they win a
he's
trophy.
such a good player.
Yeah.
But isn't that weird? It's like you lose your number nine, who was a really good striker,
Yeah.
really good nine, and now you're first place, and then you go to he goes to Bayern, who's a team who had been struggling before he made the move, but not really, not a lose in your
Yeah. I mean,
domestic cup like that to a third division team who's fighting relegation. I should bring it up.
yeah. I mean, this is a Bayern team that won the league 11 years in a row, and
Yeah.
now they're in like fourth.
Well, and then they play their I forget what they call it, but they play Dortmund this week, so it should be a good match.
Oh yeah.
We'll see how they go. Maybe if they lose, maybe we could say, yeah, he's cursed.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, if you don't mind, we can move on
Yeah.
to second place team, Arsenal.
Yeah. Just completely destroyed Sheffield. I think it was 5-0. Let's check. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
5-0
5-0.
at home.
Just a kind of dismantling of Sheffield, the last place team.
Yeah, and honestly, Arsenal having a really good defense, just allowing 8 goals against. Um, and I mean their offensive side,
Yeah,
they have the most goals as of. Or actually, no,
Villa
they're
does.
second best as of today.
Yeah,
Um, but that's really good. An Arsenal side that again we saw in the what it was in the AF Cup that they just played, where they got knocked out
the Carabao Cup.
by West Ham, correct?
Yeah, I think it was one. Was it 1-0?
Yeah, honestly, I think that's the one cup that Premier Leagues don't really pay attention to. Not
It's smaller than the other
well,
ones.
yeah, because
Yeah.
if you think about if you're gonna win the treble, your Champions League, FA Cup, and Prem.
Yeah.
So um, those are the ones that are more important to teams. But still, um, I think this would have been a good opportunity for Arsenal's youngsters to kind of show up and be like, hey, we got a bench, we got subs, because we see it from Manchester City. I think Manchester City's the only one in the league that could say that. But yeah, I mean, second place. We'll talk about fixtures in a bit, and we're gonna give our odds and our predictions. Third place, Manchester City
Yeah.
with Luke Skywalker that was gonna win. um,
They played Man
well,
United a 3-0 win. This Manchester United team is something else.
yeah,
Uh
towards it's sad because towards the end, like the fans were gone.
yeah.
Like Manchester United's fans were not there, and it sucks because it's like I thought the coaching was good. This is when he first made the move. I
Okay, yeah.
thought
I was about to
the
say.
yeah, I thought the coaching was good. They got some good players. We looked at the stats last week. Um, they don't have any forward scoring goals, any striker scoring goals.
Yeah.
They have one, I think, one goal by one of their strikers.
But
Um,
yeah.
just I guess just their offensive line, one
Yeah.
goal, which it's ridiculous for a team like that. But now that I think about it, when was the last time we actually heard Manchester United in a big stage?
I mean, the last thing is I guess the Carroll Cup that they won last year.
Yeah, but I'm talking about it's where uh you hear it in France, Spain, like you hear it everywhere, where it's like, oh, Manchester United's getting there, or they made something big. That cup again. I mean, if Premier League doesn't really pay much attention to it, I don't think it should be. I mean, they won something, but it's the same thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I mean, in that case, it's been yeah. I mean, I guess
In years.
since
I want to say
Jose got
about
second place with them, I guess.
which was how long ago?
Like I think that was 2017.
2017. That was a good run.
Yeah,
They didn't win anything.
yeah.
So if we go back, I think it might have been like 10 years.
Since Ferguson left, I think. Since
Oh,
they
it's longer than that.
isn't he like 2014?
I thought it was like 12, 23. So I
I
want
don't
to say so I
remember.
want to
I'll be
say
honest.
anywhere around 11 to 9 years
Yeah,
since they actually were like, hey, this is Manchester United. Um, because yeah, I mean, I think this whole match and it obviously Manchester City. We're not talking much about it just because they did everything well, 3-0. Um, I want to say comfortably. I don't think they struggled at all.
no.
We're to Manchester United. I mean, a lot of things play a role, like frustration from the fans. You can't do anything. There's a play where it's Anthony just I forget who he kicks, but it's
It
just
was
that
Doku.
it's just that yeah, and they get into a little altercation, but
Yeah.
it's like that.
Uh,
That's just bad, you know. It's like I don't know. I just think if you're losing like that, your fans aren't even backing you up. I think that's where you should just not try to pick any fights and just focus on playing. Um,
yeah. Did you see? Have you seen all like the videos of that? And it's like, oh, bro, is not beating the allegations because of like
oh yeah,
his
yeah, yeah,
girlfriend
yeah, yeah.
accused
Oh
him of
yeah,
like hitting her or whatever. Another thing I just want to touch on like quickly is like we just saw Arsenal beat Sheffield United 5-0, and then Manchester United goes and like struggles to beat the Sheffield United team 2-1.
yeah.
It just kind of shows that like
And
they're
we
just not on the same
yeah.
level
Well, and
anymore.
then the thing is that we criticize this Arsenal team a lot because we say it's got a good starting 11, but if someone gets hurt, what are they going to do?
Yeah,
I think Manchester United,
doesn't have a good starting
well, but
11.
if we compare player by player, they have good names. Um, I just don't know. I just don't know how to help this team out. But yeah, I think they need to. I think they need to kind of go into. I think they need to get rid of every player.
Yeah, I was thinking of this last night. I was like, okay, like if I were to come into this Manchester United team, it's gonna take like at least 2 years to rebuild this team.
Yeah, I think I would only keep your goalkeeper,
I think I'm
and
keeping
maybe
Varane because Varane's still only like
Rashford. I would
28.
keep just because now we complain about him a lot, where he's not scoring, he's not doing this. But now that I'm thinking about it, it could have just been poor coaching, poor.
Yeah, but it's been like 5 years of that.
Yeah, but think about it. Which player has actually done something for art for Manchester United?
Bruno's had good years.
Yeah, but he's still
As
not that
yeah,
player. Like what I expected from him was I'm not. I mean, I'm going to compare him just because, but they're different players. I think De Bruyne is up here,
yeah,
but I think he needs to take that role what he took with Manchester City, and he doesn't. So
yeah.
I think he also has this the attitude he has on the field. I just don't like it.
I don't either.
Um, that's just me. You have players like Anthony who are worried about kicking a player and starting a fight than playing soccer, football. Um, the back line, the back line. I mean,
I think maybe keeping Luke Shaw as well. Because Luke Shaw, he's been injured, but I think he normally puts
because
in good
that's
games.
the thing is like even whoever's the next coach, whoever comes and takes over this team, how do you get him back up? How do you lift up the I just think it's a shit environment
Yeah,
there. I don't personally know, but you can just tell.
yeah,
Um, and you have some old players like Casemiro. I think I mean, you could keep him to have somebody with experience, but you can't build a team around him.
no.
So
But I mean, like, is Rashford that guy to build a team around?
I mean, I don't think this
Because if he's
Manu.
gonna want to be, if there's like a complete rebuild, he's gonna want to be that guy.
Yeah, I just don't. I just think if you have this Manu side, this squad, this roster, I think you need to get rid of the whole team. I don't think there's anybody worth building a team around. There's some players that you could keep and might help you, but
Yeah,
you got to bring big names, and that's why I was saying Rashford. I don't think you build a team around him. But yeah, it's just kind of sad. 10, let's
Ten
just
Hag.
say 8, 9 years since they had a good.
Yeah. And another thing is like, if they do get rid of Ten Hag, um, like I'm not, I can't even think of any like
Well,
free agent.
honestly, this season I was just worried about um, the prem. Let because they're Champions League. I believe they're third place,
Yeah.
so they're in third place. They, I would just let Champions League go. Focus here. Try to be in champion or Europa, UEFA spots for next year, whichever tournament you get into. But I mean, it's going to be hard because I mean, in fourth place you have this Liverpool side who started shaky, not the best performance that we were used to for Liverpool,
Yeah. But
but
they've
they're
improved a lot
yeah, I mean they're 3 points away from
from first.
number one. For some reason I don't know why. Uh, but yeah, they're in fourth place, 3 points away from first place. I don't have much to say about this team.
No, I
Um,
mean,
they've improved a lot. They've the 3-0
yeah, they
against
no
Forest.
against Forest. Yeah, I didn't watch this game. Uh, I don't really have much to say about it. It's just a good one for Liverpool. Keeps them uh pushing to stay in the top four, in the running still for first place, even though you're kind of surrounded by a lot of good teams as well. Um, yeah, I don't have much to say. Just a solid win
Yeah,
for them.
and I mean I think it's something we expect. I mean just the name Liverpool, we expect them to see their coaching. They've lost some key players, but they still have a strong squad. I think fourth place is what, based on what we saw at the beginning of the season, is what I need, especially when we see what Arsenal's doing in Tottenham.
Yeah,
And I mean, Man City's always going to be there.
yeah. Moving on to this Villa side, who currently are the top scorers in the whole league. Um, they played Luton last week, won 3-1. Luton, not the best team, obviously. Uh, but this Villa side continues to show that they're just a dangerous team attacking wise,
Yeah,
and they're still very solid.
yeah, and you kept talking about it. You said, "I want to keep an eye on this team," and I told you, that it was just. Um, I honestly can't think of any players.
For this team.
Yeah, also because I mix it up with West Ham
Yeah,
because they have similar colors. But when I try to picture a player, I put a face and then the kit, and they have similar uniforms.
I mean it's like them, Burnley, and West Ham. They all have like the same kit in
Yeah.
my mind,
Well,
so
Burnley we know just because
they're just not as good. Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, this side's doing really good. I honestly didn't expect them to see him up there,
yeah,
fifth in the Prem. I think that's really good. They have faced some. I
pretty
mean,
good teams.
they faced some
Yeah, they
top
beat
tier
West
teams.
Ham by 4 to
4-1,
1, Brighton 6-1, beat Chelsea, a draw the
one
Wolves
zero.
away, which obviously they can't beat us at home ever.
Yeah,
Um, Make
and
it clear
then
I don't like Villa because they are Wolves rivals,
yeah.
but I like a lot of players that they have, and I think they are a solid team. Um,
Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see. Um, yeah, I don't think they faced any of the top teams.
in terms of like the top four, top
Top
three,
four, yeah.
I don't remember. I think they might have.
You gotta go all the way down.
Yeah. Can I just look if I like team?
Okay, you're already at the end. Just go up. Where are they?
Uh,
Everton 4-0.
uh, where are
Then 3-1,
they? Okay.
3-1, and then it's the ones that we've seen.
No, I think there's one more.
Oh, 3-0.
They
Liverpool.
lost.
Oh,
They
they
lost
lost
to
to
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
I think that's their only loss.
Yeah, they lost to
No, they lost
Liverpool
to one more team.
2.
But I don't want to go kind
Yeah.
of looking
So
through.
Liverpool. And it was what, week 4.
Yeah,
I mean, either way, they're in Europa League, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's Conference League.
Conference League. I don't know exactly how they're doing there, but I mean, fifth spot Premier League, and then you have a um, with a champion or tournament to fight. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Um, and if you don't mind, I want to move up to this Newcastle team,
yeah,
and I want to spend a little time because I think last week or a couple of weeks ago I was like, yeah, I was wrong. I thought this team would be up higher, and they're not. Then I started looking at their uh, their calendar and how it looked and how it's about to look. They have one of the hardest
schedules.
schedules in the Premier League.
Yeah,
Just you're facing top teams. I mean, you PSG, Milan,
Dortmund.
Dortmund. Then you already played. You They played Manchester City early on, I believe. So they played like a good 6 top European teams.
Yeah,
Uh, and if you keep going, I think they have Arsenal next.
yeah,
So that's not easy. And then you have Dortmund just 3 days later.
yeah,
So it's going to be a tough schedule.
yeah. And I think they're struggling with some injuries now too. Um, I'm not exactly sure who. That's just kind of what I've like listening to some other things, just what I heard, especially talking about their midweek game and some of the players that were missing. I can't recall who it was.
Yeah, I didn't watch
So
just or a couple days ago
yeah,
the game against
and yeah,
Man U. Yeah. But I think if you have some injuries, and I would assume that for that cup you're not playing your starting 11, and you still manage to beat Man U, I think you're okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
This
mean, if
Man U team is just
you beat them 3-0.
yeah, but is this team just like that unimpressive?
Oh yeah, I mean they are. But what I'm saying is, if your B team is beating Man U, because I
Yeah,
already think about it.
I guess. Yeah, that's true. I guess.
You're thinking about the name already when you play Manchester United or the big names, Liverpool and everything. You already have an extra little. I gotta beat him. I want to beat him. And they also the other team, which we're not seeing with the starting 11 for Man U is typically it's Man U 100% Man U. I gotta show it. The first team's not showing it, so I get that.
Yeah.
But I just want to say Newcastle's schedule is the hardest and sixth in the Prem. They are second in. No, they lost to
I think they're.
second or third. I can't
I
recall
think
because
it's
they beat PSG
PSG,
is in first.
Dortmund, and then I think them and then Milan's last. Because I think Dortmund won a game, tied, and lost.
Dortmund beat Newcastle 1-0.
Yeah, and then they tied to Milan and lost to
So
PSG.
they have four.
No, I think Newcastle also has
So,
four. They're tied for second.
second, yeah. Second or third, same points, I would assume.
Yeah, I think so.
Brighton, next up, they've lost to. They've had at least a tough start of the schedule.
Yeah, last few weeks have been tough.
They've also have a. I think they're in Europa League.
Yeah, they're in Europa League.
So obviously that's going to be a little hard for them, and
It's just like an adjustment for all these teams that haven't been in Europe because they're gonna have to have players that weren't normally having
yeah,
to step in,
yeah.
and other players are gonna need to have more demanded of them.
And
Uh,
then the interesting thing I want to see is I hope they don't because I want to see Premier League teams make it all the way semifinal, final, winning the title. But I want to see, say, Brighton, Aston Villa, Newcastle, United, they get knocked out of their competition. Now your focus is here. Like that is going to be competitive for every other team. They're Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal in the top four essentially. Um, but yeah, the other two I kind of want to talk about, or three. I mean, we already talked about Manchester United, so we're gonna skip it. We'll talk about West Ham losing to Everton.
at home.
Yeah, and then prior to that, you lost to 4-1 to Aston Villa.
Yeah, kind of looking not the best for this West Ham team. I don't.
And then midweek, you go and beat Arsenal 3-0.
No, I don't think it was three.
3-0. I'm thinking about
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
I think it was
One,
one,
one, one
but
or two,
I think it was
two,
one.
one.
Let me check.
I might just be having.
Delusions.
Yep. But I mean, you go and beat it. I mean, I didn't check lineups,
Mm-hmm.
but I know West Ham was playing with their full. They had some big names in there.
I'm
No. Okay. But yeah, I mean, we know they beat Arsenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to see they're gonna go to is it Brentford?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Brentford away.
Yeah, and then it's interesting because they're the 10th place. So whoever wins this game will go up in the standings. And then the other team I want to talk about is Chelsea. That I just don't know what the hell's going on with them. Brentford
Yeah.
just beat them. I
This
mean,
is
it's another thing that we go based on Manchester United. It's like they just recently won uh Champions League, but after then it was like
all downhill.
downhill. And I don't know what to expect from this team. They have good players,
Yeah.
but did you see the second goal was 1-0, goes up to the last couple minutes. They get a corner kick,
Yeah. And then the
and
goalie comes
the
up.
goalie comes up, and it just
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with goals like that because like you're gonna be trying to
yeah. But
push for it, but I don't know. It's just like sometimes you see this team, you're like, okay, this looks like a team that can actually compete with the rest of the top of the league, and then other times you watch this team, you're like, this team looks like they're fighting relegation right now,
yep, yep.
and it's
It
just
reminds me of
weird.
Wolves a lot. Like Wolves
Yeah, like
at
a
home,
year.
they're stupid. and then they go win, and they have some games where you're like, are you serious?
Yeah,
Um, the difference with Chelsea and Wolves is Chelsea just by name. Like
yeah,
they're a strong team just by the name. Um, I mean, Wolves is in the Premier League. They're in the Premier League for a reason. But what is it? 3 years ago, 4 years ago, they got promoted.
uh,
Might have been 4 or 5.
2019. I think
So
it was
four,
2019.
4. Um, so yeah, and then the other thing I kind of want to point out: last places are in 20th Sheffield United
Yeah,
with 1 point.
yeah,
Pretty sad. I would assume this is the team that's going to be for sure leaving.
yeah. I mean, 22 goal differential is
Yeah,
bad.
7 goals for.
Yeah, they're it's just not looking good.
Yeah,
Next, Burnley, who had a kind of a big loss against Bournemouth this past week. That's I think the only game we haven't touched on. Um,
that's tough.
yeah,
Sheffield does play Wolves, and Wolves is away, so that could be their first win. I hate to say it, but
yeah, especially since Neto's injured.
yeah.
Um,
But sorry, you were saying
yeah,
mention.
Bournemouth just beat Burnley, which is a big win for them. They haven't been doing well either. So any win against anyone else when you're fighting against relegation, obviously you're going to take the points.
Yeah,
And then Luton, which kind of has surpassed our expectations. They've gotten
a lot.
1 win and 2 draws, so they're at 5 points, 1 point off of Bournemouth, which is in 17th. Um, at the beginning of the season, we were kind of expecting Luton to be right where Sheffield is with
One.
only one point. This looks like a honestly, they look like they have more fight in them compared to some of the other
Yeah,
teams
yeah.
that
I
I'm
think I
seeing.
think that's what's making them be. I mean, because they could pretend they're still in that line. I know it's early in the season, 10 games, uh, but just now they're in that line where if they win a game, they could possibly be on the other side.
Yeah,
But I think it's more heart than anything.
yeah, I agree with that.
Um, but yeah, so that's all for the fixtures that we saw, and then the standings, obviously.
Yeah,
So if we can move on to our
this upcoming week's games.
possible parlay.
Yeah,
First game, the fourth, which should be Saturday.
yeah.
Manchester United, Fulham.
Fulham's at home.
Fulham's home. Yeah. Uh, Manchester United are favorites. I just want to go look at the standings. Fulham is in 14th place. They've only won 3 games, and they lost their games at home, I believe. No, home and away.
They've been. I mean, the only games kind of look like they lost were against Chelsea, Tottenham, and then one
Yeah,
more. So it's not a bad Fulham team, and they've played some hard opponents. Kind of, I think they're lower than they could have been just based on the schedule they've had. Um,
I also think. Well, based on looking at this game in the line, the spread money line, and then the over under, I think Fulham allows a lot of goals. Manchester United can't score. Uh, and I think this is a perfect game for Manchester United to be like, hey, if we want to kind of get it together, which I don't see it happening, but
yeah,
I'm not in that locker room where it's like we got to pull something out of this.
yeah,
Um, because you go and lose to Man City hurts, but you're also talking about Man City.
yeah,
Um, no disrespect to any other team, but then you go in Newcastle, who's doing things really well. But again, if you're in the Premier League, you're playing against Newcastle, Manchester United.
yeah,
Just by those two things, Manchester United just stand out, and they don't. Fulham on the other side just want to keep punishing this Manchester United side.
yeah.
So what do you think?
I think just Fulham spread. I think Fulham wins this.
Should we look at just +1 or plus?
I think I don't think they win by a lot. I think it's gonna be like a. I think 0.5 is fine.
So 4.5.
Is
They
that
just have
better?
to tie. I mean, we get. I guess it makes sense. Just go this one.
Is that just a
spread. So I took them on 0 and
plus 0.5
yep,
for the spread?
yep. So 0 and half plus half.
Yeah.
It's minus 110. Next game, Brentford against West Ham United.
Brentford's at home. West Ham hasn't been playing well. Brentford's been playing all right. Maybe not as good as they were last year, but they're still doing well.
Yeah, that's the ninth and 10th place playing against each other.
Yeah, this is gonna be a close one, kind of no matter which way falls.
You see a lot of goals. I see 3 goals. I don't see 4 goals.
I agree. I think 3 is like possible. I think yeah, the over here is not bad. Over
Where the hell's the over under? Right here.
over 3, or it'd be over
No,
two
over
and a
two
half.
and a half.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
So 2.5.
All right, over 2.5 on the Brentford West Ham game. Burnley
Crystal.
Palace.
I think Crystal Palace wins. Burnley have 4 points. It's
Yeah,
it's
it was a win and a
4
draw.
points. Yeah, I'm just gonna go check to see who they beat. If
They beat Luton.
I think they lose this game,
Yeah. Should we
I'll
go
probably go
money line?
money. Yeah, just because it's positive.
Yeah, money line plus 155. Next is Everton Brighton. This should just
I think Brighton, but Everton's. I mean, West Ham is not just not playing well. Yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to go money line for Brighton,
I agree.
and then
Dude, I can't stop yawning.
you
I don't
want
know
some.
why.
You want some coffee?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's just like I don't know, hasn't worn off yet.
Uh, this Manchester City side, I don't like betting against teams that are minus 1,000 and the spread line's minus 1,200.
I didn't even realize that.
So I would do maybe -2. I think they win by 3 goals. Right, where's the spread right here? Uh, I just, I mean, the players are back. I mean they were never gone, but
They were
space
injured
lines.
for a bit.
But I just don't see him scoring 3 goals, winning by 3 goals. I do see him scoring 3 goals. I just don't see him.
Pushing it too far past that.
Yeah,
I agree. I think going past 3 is just kind
because
of
we could either do a 2.5 if we think, but if it's 2, it pushes.
too. Because I think I mean they don't really like gonna struggle that much on the Champions League back, but
Okay, so what game was it?
that was
Man
Manchester
City,
Bournemouth.
Wolves, Sheffield hosting Wolves.
I mean Wolves should
Oh
just win
man,
this too. We haven't been. We
yeah,
went and
but I
we
think
beat Bournemouth away, and Bournemouth's better than the Sheffield team.
I think your strongest weapon's hurt though.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I'm.
worried about.
They should win, but then again, also we're shit away.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm down to gamble and say Wolves wins. I mean, I think at this point the money line would be worth it, just because -1 is, I guess, if they have to win, they have to win.
yeah,
So it's a better line.
yeah. Spread minus 0.5.
And then there,
Arsenal Newcastle.
wait, Sunday there's a Monday game too. Okay,
All right, Arsenal Newcastle. I think Arsenal should just win this.
straight up.
Yeah, I think Newcastle's probably going to realize that even if they do start most of their like star players, the chances of them winning this is going to be pretty hard.
And then
and then they have to
I would
go.
assume one of the reasons why Arsenal lost is maybe their during midweek is because their full 11 wasn't up. Maybe they
Yeah.
had some players, but not their full starting 11. So that's that. Forest against Villa.
Uh, Villa should just win this too, I think.
I was gonna say let's go over under, but Forest for some reason, man, I just hate them. Something about them always makes things not happen.
Yeah.
Um, Liverpool.
Luton. I mean, Liverpool should just win this too.
Do you want to go spread -1.5, -2?
Sure. I think that's good.
I think that's been the most straightforward.
Yeah. Even like a tough game like Tottenham Chelsea, Tottenham should just win.
I'm just gonna do straight up.
Yeah.
All right, so
Let's see.
Manchester City wins
But
by more than 2
yeah,
goals, so they have to win 3-0. Brentford, West Ham, there's 3 goals
the whole game.
over 2.5.
Yeah.
The other ones.
Liverpool versus Luton. Liverpool wins -1.5, -2. So Liverpool scores
They have
2
to
or
win
more
by
goals.
at least 3 goals.
At least
if they
they
score
win.
2, we push.
Yeah.
But we would like the 3 goals.
So Liverpool wins by hopefully 3 goals. Tottenham wins straight up. Arsenal wins straight up. Villa wins straight up. Wolves win by 1 goal. We just did that because it's a better spread.
Yeah.
Um,
Crystal Palace.
yeah, Palace. We're saying when it beats Burnley straight up. Fulham, Manchester. We say Fulham wins by 1 goal again because the the line's better.
No, they just don't lose. So it's a tie.
Oh, tie or
So
win.
they tie or win. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I thought it was Fulham's to win, but tie I think is
Yeah. So they gotta. So they're the spread. They're already winning by half. So if they were to tie, we push one and partially go through, and if they win, we automatically just win both of them.
Okay, perfect.
And then
Then we have Brighton beating Everton. So for the $1 bet, it's actually one of the higher ones for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
Around $946.28. Not too bad.
Yeah, let's hope there's too many hits.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's tough. Too many games, too many.
Variables.
Yeah. But we'll place it, and again, do not bet.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this is all we have for this week for the Premier League. There's not big games standing out. It's only that Tottenham Chelsea that I'm like.
In terms of like big teams versus big teams.
Yeah. There's also that
Arsenal Newcastle, I guess.
Yeah, I think that would be the one to watch.
Also,
I kind of want to watch Manchester Fulham just to see Man U lose.
Yeah. I guess Brentford West Ham should also be a pretty a close game.
The only thing about this, I don't know what West Ham side's gonna show up.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's all for today.
Yeah, that should be all.
So we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Peace.